Friends, hi. Some FAQ on composition scheme I would like to bring in front of you. The entrepreneur and the business owner have more confusion about the composition scheme, that how this would be availed and what the compliances we have to make sure. Being a taxpayer, it is your responsibility to manage the compliance. It is not your consultant responsibility to manage your compliance, because at the end of the day, if things are happening badly, then you are accountable for that. You are responsible for that. You will receive the notices from the department. You have to acknowledge and submit the response of your notices that you have received from the department. So what is important here is, then you have to know about that, what are those taxation is going on, what are those GST that you are complying for. This is more important. So let I'm bringing this, the FAQ, and this would help you to know more about how the composition scheme is. So come with me and know about some more on the composition scheme. So the composition scheme is to whom it is applicable. It is simple. That if your turnover is less than 1.5 crore in any financial year, you are eligible to register your business under composition scheme. Who cannot opt the composition scheme? There are certain transactions on some of the taxable persons is not eligible to register and do the business under composition scheme. What is that? A manufacturer of ice cream, tobacco or masala is not eligible under composition scheme. A person's in business making interstate supply is not eligible under the composition scheme. If you have a branch transfer from one branch to another branch and another branch is in another state, you are not able to avail the composition scheme benefit. You are not able to register under the composition scheme. Normal persons like a casual taxable persons are a non-resident persons. So a casual taxable persons or a non-resident persons will not eligible to register their business under composition scheme. So a casual taxable persons or a non-resident persons is not eligible to register their business under composition scheme. If you are running your business through e-commerce operator, then again you are not able to run your business under composition scheme. You are not eligible to register your business under composition scheme. And if your turnover is more than 1.5 crores, then again you are not eligible to register under composition scheme. These are the persons, these are the transactions which are not eligible to register under composition scheme. So what are those availment conditions under composition scheme? The availment conditions are very simple. That you will not able to take the input tax credit benefit. You have to issue the bill of supply instead of tax invoice. You have to mention the composition taxable person under the bill of supply. You have to mention the composition taxable persons in your notices board, in your office, in your place of business. You have different branches within the state. For turnover calculations, you have to summarize, you have to accumulate all this turnover and what is the turnover based on your PAN. You have to consider that. These are the simple availment conditions under the composition scheme. How to register under the composition scheme? It is again very simple. You have to simply log in into your GST portal, go and file simply CMP02. You will get the approval from the government, and as soon as get you the approval from the government, you will be start to do the business under composition scheme, start to compliance under the composition scheme. But one thing you have to make sure that you have to apply at the beginning of the financial year. Mid of the financial year you will not able to take. What are the returns that a composite dealer is required to file? There is one return that a composite dealer is required to file. That is the annual returns. The annual return is required to file on or before 30th April of the next financial year. And the returns name is GSTR4. Earlier GSTR9 was, but it was till the financial year 1819. And from 1920, the GSTR4 in place of GSTR9A. For making the payment of tax, you have to pay tax on quarterly. And CMP08 you have to use, this form you have to use while you are going to make the payment of your tax. The composition scheme. In a composition scheme, an entrepreneur and the business owner is able to take the input tax credit? Then again answer is no. Under composition scheme, you are not able to take the input tax credit benefit what you have the purchase, whether it is intra or interstate. Under composition scheme, what are those taxations that an entrepreneur or the business owner is required to pay? So in a composition scheme, you have to pay 3 types of tax. Number 1, that what you have the outward taxable turnover, you have to simply pay the tax as per the reduced rate of tax under composition scheme. When you have a reverse charge mechanism transactions, like for example, when you have the sponsorship services, availing the services from the lawyer, imports of services, where the RCM is applicable, you have to pay the tax as per the normal rate of tax, like how the normal taxable persons are paying. The composition scheme is not applicable on these transactions, the RCM transactions. And when you have a purchase from unregistered persons under B2B, then again you have to pay the tax as per the normal taxable persons, like how the normal taxable persons are paying. So these are the 3 tax that you have to make sure that you are following and complying with the composition scheme. Is composition scheme is mandatory? Then again answer is no. What you need to do here is that when you observe and feel that yes, our turnover is less than 1.5 crore and you are willing to register under composition scheme, you have to simply apply to the government, but this is not compulsory. This is completely voluntary. This is also possible that 1 year you are availing the composition scheme, in the another year you just surrender the composition scheme and start to pay the tax as per the normal tax of persons. But one thing you have to make sure that while you are going to pay the tax as per the normal tax of persons, you have to change the billing model. You have to issue the tax invoice. So it impact to your business. It impact to your customer. It impact to your overall business, what you are doing. This is not compulsory that you have to go and register under the composition scheme. These are some questions that you should know as an entrepreneur or as a business owner. Then what are those benefits that composition scheme is? And what are the transactions that we have to carry under the composite dealer scheme? Advantage is very simple, that you have to pay the quarterly tax, you have to file the annual returns, you have to simply go and register under the GST under composition scheme, you have to simply pay the tax on quarterly basis by calculating a simple tax, you have to pay the reduced tax, you will have the more liquidity. You will have the more liquidity. These all are the benefits that you can be able to avail through the composition scheme. So make sure as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, where you are, whether your turnover is less than 1.5 crore, you can be able to register your business under composition scheme and get all those benefits that I have provided you here in this video. And there are many more that I can be able to provide you basis of case to case that would become. So what is important here is that please watch my video. I would have more important informations for you if you are working as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. There are more detailing in GST, there are more compliance in GST, there are more control in GST that you have to make sure that you are doing in your business. in any of the problem, in any of the area where you find that yes, this is the problem and we are not able to get the proper solutions, you have to consult with your consultant, with your professional. GST is like one of the gift, and if you are treating the GST as a poison, it will kill your business. You will not able to run your business for the longer period of the time. If you are not complying the GST today, the consequences of not compliance the GST today will get the tomorrow. You will be running behind the notices if you are not running properly the compliance of your GST in your business. So make sure that you are having the least turnover. This is good. But keeping a large turnover, keeping the large business or not managing the GST, not managing the compliance, it means you are allowing to the department or the authority to issuing the notice and take more liquidity from you. So you have to judge and apply the sense of your business in GST. This is more important. This is Zen Singh signing out. Until we meet again, thank you. Thank you very much.